I want to keep maturing, says Eala ahead of Abu Dhabi Open. 20-year-old Filipino star faces Turkish wildcard Zeynep Sönmez at Zayed Sports City. Dubai, Eala may be just 20 years old, but the Filipino tennis sensation is already carving out her place among the elite on the women's tour. Fresh off a breakthrough season that saw her become the first Filipina to crack the WTA top 50, Eala insists her journey is only beginning. I want to keep maturing. I want to hopefully go a little higher in the rankings, she said ahead of her opening match at the Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open at the International Tennis Center in Zayed Sports City, where she faces Turkish wildcard Zeynep Sönmez. But the higher you get, the steeper the mountain is. When Eala steps onto the court this evening, it will mark a full-circle moment. Abu Dhabi is where her WTA 500 journey began, and now, 2 years on, she returns with a chance to write the next chapter in one of tennis' most compelling rise stories. 24 months ago, Eala arrived in Abu Dhabi ranked outside the world's top 180, competing in the UAE for the first time in her maiden WTA 500 appearance. But now she can boast of a sensational season that included her first WTA title, a historic US Open run, and victories over 3 Grand Slam champions in a single week. I still remember my match here. I played Magdalena Frech, and it was such a great learning experience, Eala recalled of her 2024 debut. It was my first time in the UAE, so there were a lot of new experiences. I've grown a lot since then, so let's see how this year pans out. That growth has been remarkable. Beginning 2025 ranked number 147, Eala battled through qualifying rounds and WTA 125 events before announcing herself on the sport's biggest stages with a stunning run to the Miami Open semifinals in March. Competing as a wild card, she defeated former French Open champion Jelena Ostapenko, 2025 Australian Open winner Madison Keys, and world number 2 Iga Swiatek in consecutive matches, becoming the first Filipino to beat a top 10 player, the first to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal, and the first wild card in WTA history to defeat 3 Grand Slam champions at a single tournament. There are quite prominent differences in all aspects of my game, Eala said when asked about her evolution since her first appearance in Abu Dhabi. But more than that, it's the maturity, how I approach things on court. Physically, I'm stronger and more developed. It's well-rounded growth. Mental toughness. That maturity was evident throughout a season defined by resilience under pressure. From rallying back to defeat 14th seed Clara Tauson at the US Open, becoming the first Filipino to win a Grand Slam singles match in the Open era, to overturning a 1-6 first-set deficit to claim her maiden WTA 125 title in Guadalajara, Eala repeatedly showcased her mental toughness. Now, as she prepares to face Sönmez in the opening round, Eala has another chance to make history. No Filipino player has ever won a WTA 500 title, and the hard courts of Zayed Sports City suit a player whose biggest breakthroughs, including her Miami semifinal run and US Open victory, have come on the surface. It would mean the world, not just as a Filipino but as me, Eala said of the possibility. It would mean so much for my personal growth and my personal journey. Eala's return has already generated buzz among the UAE's sizable Filipino community, many of whom turned out at Zayed Sports City on Sunday as she carried out media duties. Now one of the Philippines' most recognizable sporting figures, with more than 869,000 Instagram followers, Eala is well aware of the pressure that comes with representing a nation on the global stage. I want to say it's business as usual, but it's inevitable, she admitted. When a lot of eyes are on you, you'll feel some pressure. But all players feel pressure, you just have to learn how to deal with it. I think I've been doing pretty well so far. I want to keep maturing, Eala ahead of the Abu Dhabi Open. The courts in Abu Dhabi shimmer under a sun that feels both welcoming and demanding. For Eala, the heat is familiar, not just the kind that rises from the hard court, but the quieter pressure that comes with being young, talented, and constantly watched. As she prepares for the Abu Dhabi Open, Eala's focus is not fixed on trophies or headlines. Instead, it circles around a simpler, deeper ambition: growth. I want to keep maturing, she says, a sentence that carries more weight than it first appears. Maturity, in tennis, is not just about age. It is about patience when points slip away, clarity when momentum turns, and belief when expectations feel heavier than the racket in your hand. For Eala, who has been navigating international courts since her teenage years, maturity has become the invisible opponent and ally she meets every time she steps onto the baseline. The journey here has not been linear. There were early breakthroughs that announced her arrival to the tennis world, moments when her name traveled faster than she could. With each success came a new label: future star, trailblazer, hope. While those words open doors, they also build walls of expectation that only experience can dismantle. Ahead of the Abu Dhabi Open, Eala speaks less about rankings and more about rhythm, about understanding her game not just as a collection of shots, but as a living system that evolves with her mindset. She knows now that winning is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like choosing the right shot instead of the spectacular one. Sometimes it means accepting a long rally instead of forcing an ending. This is where maturity lives, in restraint. On the practice court, the work is quiet and deliberate. Footwork drills, repeated patterns, controlled aggression. Off the court, the work continues in subtler ways. Learning how to recover, how to reset after a tough loss, how to protect joy in a sport that can consume everything if you let it. Eala understands that the best players are not just skilled competitors. They are careful managers of their own energy and emotions. Abu Dhabi represents more than another stop on the tour. It is a checkpoint, a moment to measure progress not only by results, but by response. How does she react when a set slips away? How does she carry herself between points? These questions matter as much as the final scoreline. There is also pride woven into her preparation. Carrying the flag of the Philippines onto global courts has always been a source of motivation for Eala, but she has learned to let that pride empower rather than overwhelm her. She plays for herself first now, knowing that authenticity breeds the strongest performances. "I want to keep maturing" is not a declaration of arrival. It is an admission that the journey is ongoing. In many ways, Eala stands at an intersection. Youth still fuels her fearlessness, while experience is beginning to shape her decisions. She is learning when to attack and when to wait, when to listen to her instincts and when to trust the process she has built with her team. This balance is delicate, but it is also where real breakthroughs happen. As the Abu Dhabi Open approaches, the spotlight will do what it always does: search for narratives, predictions, and turning points. Eala, meanwhile, keeps her gaze narrower. The next match. The next point. The next opportunity to grow. Because maturity, she knows, is not something you reach and keep.